Welcome to the Divine Mess, a sanctuary where the dance of the empowered masculine and the divine feminine unfolds in all its glory. Join us as we delve into the heart of these cosmic energies, exploring their attributes and the profound impact they have on our lives. From the raw power of the masculine to the nurturing embrace of the feminine, we uncover the balance that leads to a life of abundance and joy. Our hosts, Kurti Deva Perriman and Tina Ryan, are your guides on this spiritual journey who blend science with soul to offer practical wisdom for harnessing your divine energy. We celebrate the beauty and imperfection, embracing the chaos of life's journey as a catalyst for growth. The Divine Mess isn't just a podcast, it's a movement towards wholeness and self-expression. So come laugh with us, cry with us, and grow with us. Every episode is an invitation to explore the depths of your being and to live out loud, authentically and unapologetically. Subscribe and join our community of seekers as we support each other in this extraordinary, messy adventure we call life. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to us from. Welcome to the Divine Mess. And if this is the first time that you are joining us, my name is Tina Marie and I am a I'm a self-love coach, and I love playing in the space of women moving through separation and divorce and helping them redefine their second season and what that's going to look like for them. And as always, every week, I am joined by my very delightful co-host, speaking the most incredible French language, and drives me insane because he tells me incessantly that I need to surrender and surrender more. He's just a good egg all round. So my gorgeous co-host, Mr. Kurti Deva Perriman, is the cosmic alchemist from the Golden Temple, where he helps you transmute your fears into love, which is just the perfect solution to everything. So I will hand over and he can sort of introduce himself.
I think you already did it. I don't need to add more, but thank you. Welcome to our new listeners. And I think by the time of recording, now you can't miss us at all because you can't say like we are only on Podbean
We
because
are
we
everywhere, man.
every freaking where. Like every place you can think of. Well,
You can find us. It's not hard
yeah,
anymore. It's not challenging. It's not for certain platforms. It is for everybody. And that's super exciting, isn't it?
it's very
We're just doing a
exciting
little quiet dance to ourselves as to how exciting it is.
because we just been officially now published on Apple Podcasts, one of the platform, one of the 9 platform that we are on now. There will be YouTube as well. At the
Yeah.
moment, you will be hearing the audio version, but we will be evolving to finally that you can see how we are grinding, smiling, or laughing at each other, or flipping the
Having
fingers from
dawning
someone.
realization that once again we're reminded of our own, how can we put it? Our own purpose and mission. It
Yep.
constantly gets, we constantly get bitch slapped, I would say, is a nice way of putting it. That this is what we've been meant to be doing for a very long time. And it's our absolute pleasure to do it. That there's no more fun, honestly, than turning up and hanging out and spending time with your friend and meeting some of the most divine humans on the planet who are all serving the world in their own unique and special ways. And they've each added a little bit of something to our days, and it's always been such a great way to kick off the day or to move through the afternoon. There is not a time, I don't think, where we've had somebody on where we haven't gone, thank you. Yes, I needed that reminder. Thank you. So we had the pleasure of having the beautiful Isabella on the podcast last week, and she has so many ticks in so many boxes. I was just like, and you're how old? And you managed to accomplish all of those things in such a this woman knows how to quantum leap in an exceptionally strong hurry, and she's just opened up a beautiful ZenThai practice, and she was super excited about that, so we'll share that with you. But marketing, strategy, coaching, you name it, this woman has an amazing toolkit to draw from when it comes to working with her clients and working on her own business. And marvelous manifester, I think, is probably a really good word for Bella, in
Yeah.
that she understands the frequency of the universe and how things work. And the minute she thinks something, it literally lands in her lap. There's no fear, there's no expectation, there's no nothing. It's just, I'd really like this. And it shows up, and sometimes things show up that she thought were in the very distant future, and they show up 2 days later.
Just crazy, like how she works things out so easily.
Mm,
Her energy is a whole another level. I had the opportunity to speak to her like twice, like in our recording and before that. But prior to that, she was telling her story of her journey, how she evolved. And just like you, I was like asking that question, like, how old are you? Like, are you being serious? Like to have those awakening at the age that she had those, it's just
mm,
amazing. Like, and and when we were talking initially, the first conversation we were discussing about the masculine and the feminine energy, and I was telling her like it felt like you were in the masculine before more, because you were like doing and achieving and like getting those things done beautifully, and uh and then you reach a point where you're like, no, this is not me, and you just
yeah,
stop and you went into your feminine energy more to be realigned. And now that she is like all balanced, like, and still working on it daily through her ZenThai practice, it's just amazing what she is achieving. And by the time of recording, unfortunately, her workshop on um, how to use social media, for your own benefit has already been done. And I'm pretty sure there will be more coming. And
yeah,
we've been following her social media, and you can use how she's like inspiring others through simple posts. Like there's nothing major, like there's not flashy things. She's just being honest. And what I love about her energy is like it's a very playful energy. Like she
yeah,
love to play with the energy, and she loved to play with the universe to achieve things and to get the things done. Like
yes,
in New Zealand or Oz, they will say like to get shit done. I'm pretty sure that's how it's done, but that's how it's language. But she's really doing it, and it's
yeah,
just amazing from where she came from, and just achieving all those beautiful, in her practice, how she's connecting with people, and she's traveling now across Australia, but she's planning to travel across the world to show what ZenThai is. And you can listen more about what's ZenThai in the previous episode. Please go back and have a listen, and we'll invite all of you, of course, to connect, because we'll have everything in the show notes, and you will just be amazed by just following her on social media.
yeah. But it was excuse me, it was interesting to hear her talk about meeting familial expectations, like in going into roles that made everybody around her feel comfortable. That this is what I thought I needed to do, and go to university and get a degree and get in that profession and just work. And then she's came to this like you said, she came to this dawning realization and went, hang on a minute, it doesn't make me happy. But then people sort of started coming out of the woodwork and saying, can you just help me with this? And she said, and that's how her coaching practice evolved, that it wasn't, I'm now a coach, you know. And then she went down the road like that. It was very much a natural evolution. And because of what she already knew in terms of marketing and strategy, she was able to apply that to her business. And she wasn't she did love working with small business and startup and those sorts of things, but she was attracting really big businesses, that were paying her exorbitant amounts of money for, her wisdom and her expertise. But you were looking at a woman who was in her mid-20s, but she exuded this otherworldly wisdom, I think. But you get to a point where you're constantly in service. But like David said, if you're not in that space where you're in balance for yourself, you're not centered all the time, then you burn out. And she did get to that point. And then she she said, I shaved my head and I went in and went into monk mode, and I went up in the hills and I disconnected from everybody and everything and all my worldly possessions. And I just sat and said, what's next? How many of us can say that we recognize when we're on the hamster wheel and go, hang on a minute, this is not right? It's interesting too, because I've been listening to Conversations with God, and there's we have this concept of what reality is meant to look like, but it's concepts that have been shared to us by our parents and other family and relatives and friends, and going, yeah, but why? No one asks, but why? But I think Isabella was in that space where she went, why am I doing this? I don't think anybody gives themselves the time to go, why am I constantly getting sick? Why am I grinding myself out to help somebody else? Why does it always feel like I'm struggling to make ends meet? Start. It's one thing I think from the episode for me was three little words, three little letters. Why? WHY. Why is this continuously showing up for me? Why does it look the way it does? How can I make that different? If someone, we're all meant to be marvelous manifestors. We're all meant to be marvelous creations. Why do we accept any less? Why do we think that we should be any less? And I think for me, that was my biggest takeaway from Bella, is that you can have a magnificent life if you choose to.
Yeah, and she just chooses the life she wants to live. And for me, it come from, like, like we all here, like, love what you do, like, and then it won't feel like a job. It will be fun, all of that. She really embodies that. If you really hear her and listen to her and how she describe what she's doing, there's no like hard work in that. Even there's a lot of effort being made, but she doesn't feel it. She doesn't show it, and she doesn't feel it as well when you can hear her. But I remember when she was sharing about her initial journey when she first started, how she felt, like and she had goals like from 6 a.m. until like 11 p.m., like all day long. She was pushing for things to happen. And I feel like in our life we have been taught that's the right way. That's how it's should be done, even if we know should is a shame language. We remember that, but this is how we were taught. Like, work for someone else, work someone else dream, and keep doing that, and keep pushing yourself. But when you hear like what Bella had, that realization, and just stop and say, like, it, she was getting a contract, like someone was sending $10,000 right away, And she said, no. She cut off and just went on monk mode, like you said, and just focus on herself. And that was amazing, like what you can achieve once you decide to stop and just say, yeah, this is the time for me. This is the time for me to shine. This is my light. I choose. Because when you're focusing on your light, that's when the whole world will light up. And that's how you can help others to light up as well. And by showing up for you, you're showing up for the world. And sometimes that's what I tell my clients as well. They find, oh, I can't do this for me. I say, okay. When they, especially for moms who find it difficult to focus on themselves, I say, your kid, focus on them. If you, at the moment, if you can't, let them be your motivation for a while. I say for a while, not for all the time, but just for a moment, just for this moment, they are your motivation. You don't want to change for you at this moment, change for them. Do it for them. And then you start refocusing on you. And then you will understand. And that's the change. Like sometimes we struggle because how can I change for me? That's being selfish. Like that's not good. Focusing on me, that sounds very selfish. Looking at me, it's coming like from that narcissism, but it's not. Because the more you focus on your energy and you work on your energy and you constantly see yourself as worthy of those things that you deserve, that's how the whole world will, like we embrace you with love.
But it's interesting if we teach our kids that they have to put other people's needs first, we're perpetuating the cycle, but if we're the black sheep, which I am, and Dover is to an extent, then we're the ones drawing the line in the sand and going, no, we want to create a different world for the people that come next, and for our own kids, and even walking teenagers through radical responsibility for themselves and understanding that peace and harmony within a household is okay. That it can be a normal, that you don't need to create chaos in order to feel safe. It's like, no, we can be very chilled, man. We just like it to be, there's got to be ease and calm. And sure, there's going to be where the minds don't meet, where there's a point in time where your point of view and my point of view are looking at the same problem, but from two different sides, and they don't meet, and you have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, and it's important like to respect everyone, like everyone, and accept as who they are. And this morning itself, I was one mom was saying like to me like, she's having a hard time with her 8-year-old, because maybe he has ADHD or that, or not. And I always tell her like I don't like labels. So even I come from a psych background, I refuse to accept those diagnoses. I know some clinical or psych will disagree with what I'm saying, but that's your perspective and I accept it. That's how you see it. But I was telling her, like, you can choose to see your kid from a place of love. You don't need to see it from the paper that says that your child has ADHD. It doesn't mean that you're labeling him. And for me, it's like I tell him, like, like just like in the Avengers, just say that he has a special ability. And that's how you treat him, because then he will understand that he's coming from no different, like he's no different from others. But I know, like, with people who has anxiety, who has been clinically diagnosed with anxiety, depression, ADHD, sometimes it's feel hard to live with those labels, like how, and it's feel life feel hard, but it's about accepting. And I feel like if we everyone choose to see everyone with from the space of love and in light, the world will be a whole different place. And I know it's hard at times to do that, but when you meet people like Bella, who is living their life to the fullest of potential, enjoying life, loving life, it reminds you like how your life should be and is actually if you choose to see it from a place of love and work. You won't feel, oh, it's Monday morning, oh, I have to go, you know. And I think it's Les Brown who said like um, the highest rate of heart attack happen on a Monday morning between 7 or 9 a.m. in the US, apparently. And I still remember that Les Brown was saying that he's a motivational speaker. And he was saying, like, because people don't love what they do. And Steve Jobs said that as well. Love what you do, and it won't feel work. It will be fun. This is fun. When people say, like, Elon Musk is crazy and, like working 80 or 120 hours per week, he's crazy, but he will say, I love what I do. So what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I just love it.
I think if people said that we could podcast all the time and sit and chat to amazing humans all the time, I think I might need to get a standing desk. So I could get my steps in whilst having great conversations. Because otherwise I'd be glued to a seat all day long, because you become voracious for knowledge when you get to meet all of these amazing people, and people's stories are so fascinating. When was the last time you sat with someone that you sort of know but you don't know that well, and you asked them, tell me your story, tell me about your life, what don't I know about you? You would be amazed at what people have hiding in the closet, essentially, about their life. And I met one guy once who was a real estate agent, and I said, well, tell me a bit about yourself. He said, oh, I'm a fully qualified pilot, and I'm like, what? And he said, yeah, I'm a qualified pilot, and I volunteer at the Sea Rescue Centre, and I love selling people their dream. And I'm like, dude, you kind of tick lots of boxes, right? You're in service to humanity. You get to soar above the rest of us, and you get to help people fulfill their dream. Like, it's not until you ask, don't be so self-centered and think that the world revolves around you. You can learn stuff when you ask people really good questions. And let's face it, humans love nothing more than talking about themselves. If you ask the questions in the right way, right? You've got to, and God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Like, something I always tell my kids, listen twice as much as you do speak. you know, Shush your mouth and you might get some wisdom out of somebody, and then you can respond back to that. But for us, I think this is what we found on our journey, talking to all these really beautiful people, is their stories. When you compare it to your own and you look at how you were raised and how you were parented and what religion you were brought up in and what schools you went to, and how you chose to spend your childhood time, or when you were in your early 20s, or what it looked like, how different people's experiences can be, and how people are interconnected. I read something the other day that said people that are drawn together in close friendships or relationship, somewhere in their DNA, there's like a 1% DNA match. So it's somewhere in your heritage, you were connected at one point in time. And that's why you feel this magnetic attraction to certain people, or you go, you're my type of people. That's what it's all about. So that's why we get to, it almost feels like a coming home, like a regroup of a family when we have all these beautiful people come together. And, it's not like we go seeking for the guests to come on our show. They come through recommendations from other friends, and, they kind of land in our laps, which is really nice. And that, for me, it feels like, we're recreating our family, our spiritual family. We're all coming home to know each other again and to share the wisdom that we have. It's creating that, what did Conversations with God call it? A remembrance. It's a remembrance of the God within you. And these people are turning the light switch on and helping you to remember the beauty that is within you, and endeavoring to help you eliminate the self-doubt and all the human crap that we went through in order to go, I'm not good enough, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. And I think Bella spoke about that when it came to the social media stuff, and how easy it can be if you choose for it to be. She said it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be difficult. You just share you, because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for authenticity, and they're looking for a confirmation that it's okay for them to be them in their fullest and highest expression. And that for me was just like, oh yeah, social media is always something that I have really struggled with. I have not treated it kindly, therefore it has not treated me. So now it's like, oh, I have a very different, it's just that turning of the gem, and the looking at it from a different facet or a different point of view, and going, well, it's okay that, you can use it without it feeling like this giant hill that you have to climb in order to be successful. She said, you want to be successful, you are. It's just that simple.
Mm. I think you said, about listening, and yeah, we got to say the word. We got to say the word, Tina. It's our favorite word. We got to surrender to the teacher within and to the master within us. And it's about listening within ourselves, because throughout those episodes, what I realized as well, meeting all those great guests that we had, like, and still growing, it still amazed me. Like, I'm like, okay, what's next, universe? Like you think like you're amazed at one guest with one guest, and then someone come with a story out of nowhere. It's like, okay, yeah, we have more to learn, and it's always a learning experience. What I realized is, like, everyone at one point in time, there was something major maybe happening, or something major happened in their life, and they just stop and start listening to themselves within. And that's what people listening to the podcast is important to understand as well. It's great to listen to us on every platform that you're listening. We are so excited about that. We are so happy about that. But more importantly, it's like, after the episode, like, write down, like, what you have learned from this episode, or even meditate on it. Like, there will be one word. For us, the word is surrender. We all know that. That's our favorite one. But it's like, just meditate on that, and ask yourself, like Tina was saying, like, why those experiences keep repeating. And maybe what you're hearing in this on this podcast, and you heard it like from a video earlier that you were watching, and that resonate with you, and that's where you can go within yourself and ask, okay, what is that telling me? What is that experience teaching me? Or what is that word means to me? And that's, I feel like that's what we invite all the listeners and audience, like, even now they will be watching us pretty soon, which is so exciting as well. So if you're watching us as well, like, post the video, post whatever platform you're in, like, just take that time and spend it with you, even if it's 5 minutes. Or, I know it's scary sometimes to spend time with your thoughts, but those are your thoughts. and you have control over them, whether you like it or not, whether you think about it or not, but you do have control. And it's not the external. And sometimes we spend time focusing on the external so much that we forget to listen to that voice within us. And when we do listen, it's like those amazing things that happen. And I think Tina can tell us more a bit about when you listen and you surrender.
But I think I know to be true. The more I listen, the more I'm rewarded. And the more I listen and I endeavor to have conversations, and you can term it however you like, whatever sits and fits best for you, whether it's God or Granny Mary or your best friend that passed away, and going, seriously, honey, what absolute is going on? Like, come on. And all I can hear in my head is her going, you're a bloody slow learner. Like, seriously, just get on board the train and shut up. Just stop. And trust me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it. And I had that yesterday. There was something that I thought I had to do yesterday, and I was told to stop. And so I stopped and I listened. And I was glad that I was did, because I followed that instinct, and it proved to be financially beneficial for me to stop and to listen. And then I went, oh, because you can go into that whole, there's something wrong with me, and this is the reason why something's not progressing. But it's got nothing. My scenario had absolutely nothing to do with me and the timing for something else. And so there was that right from the morning. It's like, wait, wait, wait. Sounded like the ducks on Finding Nemo. Or sorry, the seagulls on Finding Nemo. It's like, wait, 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 wait. And I'm like, okay, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. And I'm all gung ho and I'm all excited. I'm I'm wanting to move to the next stage. And I'm like, no, train's not there, because if you step off the platform, honey, you're going to fall face down. Let's just wait. Wait until the train comes and then you can get on board. I'm like, okay, I'll just wait. And I'm very grateful that I did, because it means I get to hang out and spend time with someone who has become a dear friend for a little bit longer. And that's just the best, because otherwise it'd be dead boring, to be honest. If we didn't have one another to bounce off, it's finding that person that, all of a sudden you become super close friends. And it's a bit like my relationship with David. We start sending memes to each other, all the stuff. So start listening in, and let's face it, none of us are in control. We're just not. We signed a contract before we got here. There's certain things that we need to fulfill within that contract, and realize how much potential you have. Stop being small-minded. Stop thinking in a micro version and start thinking in a macro version, and look at your life and go, and Bella was a really good, what's working? Be really critical of everything that you do and go, is this really working for me? Does this light me up and light a fire under my butt and make me super excited to get up and get moving in my day? You have the power to change it. She did exactly that. And when she did that and she went with him and she took some time, I mean, I understand for a lot of us, there's parental responsibilities and there's mortgage responsibilities, but there's nothing to say you can't do external study, that you can't do things to help yourself get to the next step and stage. Or if you ask, throw it out, ask the question, how do I do this? You'll get shown because you don't need to know the how. That's one thing that has always made me stub my toe on the curb 10,000 times, is that I think I need to know the how. And I bloody well don't. So just take a breath and be in the moment and have a little quiet chat to yourself. Give your little internal 5-year-old a little bit of now honey. Throwing a tantrum doesn't help anybody. Take a deep breath. Calm yourself. What do you really want? And let's see what we can do to get it achieved. And I think when we treat ourselves with kindness and treat our inner children how we would have desired to be treated, then I think you're going to find that life flows a little bit easier. Walk with them in your mind, hand in hand, and go, right, honey, what makes you excited? Let's see if we can remember. And I think Bella's done exactly that.
True. And she listen, you know, when she get the nudge, call that person when she sees an organization that she love and say, oh, I can volunteer for you for 1 week. And she will end up having more clients just by being and doing what she loves, just being surrounded, having conversation. So it's about finding what you love and go for it when you get that nudge, when you hear that voice, that loving voice and compassionate one that's telling you to go for it, not the one that's blaming, making you feel guilty. That's not the voice. Yeah, that's the noise. Like those noises, the wrong cheerleaders, I would say. Yeah, those are the
Yeah,
wrong
that's a
one.
good word for it, right? The completely the wrong cheerleaders.
Yeah,
I like
so
that one. I will take that one further forth. I call them the little green gremlins, but the wrong cheerleaders is probably, now I can imagine them in the cheerleader outfits with the pom poms and the ugly green faces. Like that works for me.
you made me disappear from the screen, literally, just by that joke. But I can see like how people can relate. See, that visual help you will always help you now. When you hear that negative voice coming through, you say, "Oh yeah, there's the wrong cheerleader, the wrong team." Yeah, you can kick their butt, out of it, and that's how easy it is. And that's what I love with our podcast is like with every single episode, we had a gentle reminder. We had a reminder where, like when you say that prayer, I still remember, I think Gabrielle Bernstein or Kyle Gray said that, like, thank you, universe, for revealing to me what I need to know. And I always do that, like, prior to any episode, and it always spot on. Surprise, surprise. Like that. It's always like guiding us to the right direction, even when we felt not like we are not being guided. When you say like the how, and I think Mike Dooley said that he called it the cursed house. Like always asking like how is that going to achieve? How is that going to, like for us to do that? Like when you have a goal and you can't see the step and you're like, tell me all the step. And universe is like just giving you like the first step and you don't like doing that. This week I had a client and she loved to ask like how. And she always questioned that. So one of her challenge was spending time with herself. She has not done that in over 40 years plus in her life just by being herself for 1 week. And she was scared at first, but when she did it, what was amazing, she's like in the property management. She got 5 new clients by not doing anything. And she said, like, how can that work? And that was her question, like, how can that be? I didn't push for anything. I just had fun. I just spent time with me. I just wrote everything that I thought I dealt with initially, but I just worked. So I was working with her the whole week. And then she said, like, I got 5 new clients. Like, how can that happen? And that was her question. And I was having a laugh of course, I don't hold back on those goals. I just laugh, and she knows how I am. But but then she said like, oh, this is like giving me more and more faith, in the universe, and that's what we need to do, like little step. Even I told her like, it's going to be scary, but once you take the first step and just have fun, like by the end of the day, she was getting new clients calling her, and she was on vacation mode. Like she she was not connected to her phone, and she was amazed by that process. And that's just one example. And we find it scary to do things that we love. And I remember one story from the book Spirit Means Business by Alan Cohen. And he was telling one of his client was, oh, I can't listen to my intuition, and I always have a to-do list the whole day. So he challenged her to delete the to-do list and just do what's going to bring you joy. And that's what they challenge. So her intuition was telling her to go to a cafe, to one of her favorite cafe, and have the favorite coffee or favorite pastry, all of that. She was like, oh, but I got all those parental responsibilities, financial, like you were saying earlier. And then she said, okay, let's for today, I'm going to choose to listen to that. And she went to the cafe. She actually met a potential client that became her client because she just caught up in the queue while waiting, and they end up talking, and that person became her 1 year client. And she said like she didn't push for it. She was having a conversation with someone when her intuition told her to go to the cafe. And that's all it is. And sometimes, like you said, like based on your story, like just listening to that voice, inner voice, your true cheerleaders, like your angels, your guardian angels, your spirit, when they're coming from that loving and say, wait, 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 you know, just freaking wait. But you're like, no, I want to do this. I need to do this. I need to achieve this. And that's where the battle comes. But that's when you take a step back, listen to the true voice, to your angels or spirit guide, or write it down, and you will see the magic unfold.
Well, it was the same for us when we started, right? It's
Yeah.
exactly the same. Right? We had all these like, oh, how do we start? What do we do to, and we would have all these amazing in-depth conversations, and we kept saying, well, we should really do something with this, or what are we going to do with it? And then you get pointed in the right direction. And for me, it was listening to Mel Robbins, and she was talking about her own green gremlins in the cheerleading costumes, telling her about why she couldn't have a podcast. One of the most successful women in the world, and she was doubting herself. She'd been on radio before, she'd been on TV, a successful broadcaster in her own right because she's a lawyer, and she had the green gremlins. And she said, well, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And she did it, and she became one of, and still is one of the most successful podcasters around the world. And I just looked at it and I went, well, Gabby Bernstein says, watch for the driftwood, watch for what the universe is putting in front of you, because if someone else can have it, so can you. So then I'm promptly voice noting Dave on the walk home with the dogs and going, right, let's get our skates on. We've got to get this started. And it's been the best year. And, like we constantly say, we're incredibly grateful for the opportunity that this provides us, to talk to each other all the time, because that's just a given. He's got me for a friend for life. So too bad if he wants to back out of the contract, because I'm so sorry, because it's never going to happen. You're stuck with me, kid. And we get to do something that we love. So do you know what? Even if it is, you start recording your conversations with your best friends, and you gather for G&T time on a Friday night, and you just sit around and you record it and go, well, there's some good wisdom being shared here. Why don't we just throw it up for prosperity and, and also for your legacy? Record it. Whack it on YouTube, because you'll probably find that there's about 10,000 other women who go, I could do with some really cool friends that I could hang out with on a Friday night. Why not? Why not, why not create a club where you get to meet new people and hang out and talk to some amazing humans? Because it expands your universe and it shows you that all things are possible. If all of these beautiful people with all of these beautiful gifts turn up in your life, means that you can have it too. If we're just following Gabby's advice, means we can have it too. So that's what we've chosen to do. And we, like David said, we get constant reminders that we're on the right path, because otherwise we wouldn't have guests showing up and we'd go, oh, can't be bothered talking to him today. It's too much like hard work. I don't want to talk to him. He's boring. I've had enough of him. But yeah, I think that's how most people go to their jobs every day. It doesn't have to be like that. You can find your own people. You've just got to be prepared to take those comfy slippers off, and the comfort and the security that it brings, and have faith in yourself. And find your mate and stick to him like glue.
Yeah, and I think it relates to what you were saying earlier about finding your family, like your soul family. And once you find them, if like it's life will start shifting and you will start looking at different perspective, like how you're viewing life. And for us, like every guest has helped us to see that. And Bella was a very brilliant example of, I think she owned her name, Bella, like in Italian. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. But I like her Instagram name too, Invincible. Like
Yeah.
that for me is, that was a big tick in the box in her showing, well, anything I ask for is possible. And because she's got that mindset, it is possible.
Yep.
So she's absolutely gorgeous. Do yourself a favor, check out her socials and see how easy she makes life and the ease and grace in which she moves through it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, inside and out.
I think we'll invite everyone then to check her social, and we'll put it in the show note wherever you're listening. Thank you for tuning in, or even seeing us making grind faces, or like those funny faces now, or Tina flipping, that will be
Word on a
great.
regular basis, but
Yeah,
that's just
we are
my
not going
way
to
of saying
censor that.
I love you and I think you're great, and shut up because you're only telling me what I know already.
Yeah, I know. She has that face every time I tell her. I
Mhm.
remind her. I remind her. But
Yeah,
I
where my
think like,
eyebrows, I look like I've had Botox, and like my
yeah,
eyebrows are stuck up the top.
yeah. And but that's how friendship is, like how friendship um like brings the growth out of you. Like you
Yeah,
keep growing, you keep reminding each other no matter what's happening in their life, irrespective, whether you
yeah.
like it. And what I like is you already tell me, like it's like a disclaimer. Please don't tell me to surrender. I'm just letting you know what's happening right now. So stop saying to surrender. I know I have to surrender or surrender more.
I just want to share my Netflix special with you.
Yeah. And my clients now, two of my clients is like, yeah, I know what you're going to say. Trust the universe, have faith, surrender, and surrender more. So I'm saying, great, you're coaching yourself now. Yeah, say, yeah, we can hear Deva's voice saying that, the universe. And I'm like, no, that's not the point of it. It's not about hearing my voice, but it's about hearing the universe from within you. So
Oh,
we are
God.
changing that. But we have constant reminders, and we feel really blessed, to be honest. Like you said, it's one of the best, easiest decision we had. Um, like to stick with. Easiest in the sense to stick with.
Yeah.
Easiest to start, not so, because we didn't want to press the record button, but we're glad. I'm so glad we did.
Yeah.
Because
Thousand,
now we
thousand
can,
percent.
you can hear us practically everywhere, and we're so glad about it.
I'll be everywhere, man. Well, I suppose on that note, we should close off the episode, but do yourself a favor. Check Isabella out on the socials and see how you can apply some of her learning into your life and live with a little more ease and grace and listen to that inner voice that you have. Even if she is a tantrum throwing 5-year-old, still got to listen. And we look forward to having you next week. But until then, we love you. Thank you for sharing your most precious resource, which is your time. And take very good care of yourselves. Until then, we will see you next week.
Thank you so much. And for Isabella, I'm pretty sure she got a book coming out in September. So probably we'll re-invite her and she will come back
Absolutely.
and we'll have her share about her books. So looking forward to hearing your comments. And please share if you know someone that could come, or yourself, you would love to come and share your wisdom on the virtual couch, please come and have a conversation with us. So looking forward to hearing from everyone. Take good care and we'll see you next week.
Okay. Ciao for now.